Hello and welcome to the Monster Sanctuary Tournament Circuit. Today we're going to be casting the quarterfinals of the third tournament of Season 1, United Nations. I'm Jagomu.
And I'm Red. So today's match will be featuring FlowingJuffowup versus Ptbraunschweig.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this match. Now I participated in the Swiss, and I had been seeing a lot of folks testing out some of these buff-heavy, regen-heavy lineups that PT is rocking this time around, with cores like Grulu and Blob and Nanka, which he decided to lead with, piling up lots of buffs on the Nanka to get a really big damage dealer. I'm really excited to see how it plays out against Juffowup's lineup here.
Yeah, that's a sweet team, man. I'm more familiar with Flowing's team because it's more of a, direct damage, charge-based team.
He pops the Nanka right away. I really wanted to see how much damage that Nanka was going to be able to do, but it's really hard. They're quite vulnerable in that first round to get picked off, especially by a team as aggressive as Salahammer and an Eagle here.
Yeah, that's really almost killed the Grulu too, so...
But the Grulu, the ability to really get up to high regeneration stacks really quickly is remarkable, since each of those debuffs it applies can snag itself an extra stack of regeneration for the team with its shared regeneration. DPS coming in from Griffonics, able to pop the Salahammer. Interesting choice to pop the Salahammer first.
I think that makes sense because we cannot go through that Phoenix affinity. So he might just kill the Salahammer straight up because it's almost as threatening as the bird, so as the eagle. So that's a nice choice from him.
For sure, it does let him bring in some other supporting options that may be better at putting some charge stacks on the eagle. As we see here, it's able to pop almost 30 charge stacks on the eagle for a nice one-hit KO with that Thunderstrike on the Griff.
And now we saw the combination between the regen and the Phoenix affinity is so nice because now without any heals, Griffonics is at full health already, so that's pretty nice. Yeah,
but his Griff is now vulnerable, right? Both the Eagles have Phoenix affinity, so Juffowup getting to pop the affinity first really puts this Griffin in an interesting position. Do you go and try to pop the Eagle, or do you put pressure on the supports?
Yeah, now that's going to be hard because the taunt from the Goblin Miner protected the Eagle for one more turn.
Yeah, sometimes that Miner says you don't really get a choice. Taunt really has quite a way to mess up a lot of plans. Whether or not you love it or you hate it, Taunt definitely is a great ability, and any monster that has Taunt is definitely worth considering. I think we've seen a lot of Miner for that reason, filling up only a single type with the Goblin, no Warrior or extra subtype, but has that Taunt.
Yeah, for sure. I already found the Goblin Miner pretty good in Standard, actually. I managed to go pretty far with the team featuring him, so I think that's only normal that people use him because, like you said, it's a one type. And again a taunt from the Miner.
This is unfortunate. I'd love if we could see PT's damage previews, because I wonder if there's some other options that may be a little bit less risky, let's say, but give him options to actually put a little more pressure on the Goblin. These taunts are really just eating turns from PT.
Yeah, now, like we saw, the Goblin Miner is starting to build enough charges to threaten a kill maybe next turn.
Yeah, he's going to become a threat real quick, and I think that's why the Goblin has seen a lot more play recently, because it can play this very defensive game by just spamming Forge. Even though it's not a good combo builder, it just gives the team that inevitability, and eventually it has enough charge stacks that it can do a lot of damage on its own too. So we'll have to see when he decides to bring in an attack. Is that 3 taunts in a row? This is some crazy fortunate luck.
Yeah, you hate to see it.
It's really taking a lot of the tempo away from PT. He's not able to really put a lot of pressure. But this back line, this looks like the potential to really help him stall. If this Eagle can't get an edge on this Oak fast enough,
yeah, I
may
can't
be an option.
I can't see that happen, like
It's going to be close. That explosion does look like it's going to be able to pop the Druid with no other folks with regen over on PT's team. It's going to be pretty hard for him to come back from this deficit in game 1.
yeah, definitely. I think now maybe he's thinking buying a bit of time for the next game, but I don't see him winning this one.
Now, PT's got to be thinking, I don't know what his game plan coming in here. He does have some folks over on the bench, which may be helpful to put a little more pressure on those teams. We can take a look at what monsters are on the sideboard for PT. Now, for UN, the restriction being that you can't share a creature type amongst any team or any creature on your team. We have that restriction extends to the sideboard, so if you're going to have those extra 3 slots full, they need to obey the same rules. And a lot of single type monsters have been showing up on the sideboards. For PT, we have Magma Pillar and Steam Golem in the wings.
Interesting. So maybe some burn synergies with Griffonics.
Magma Pillar and King Blob really do have some potential to protect some monsters with quite a bit of shield, with something like Steam Golem with shield charge. Interesting to see what he brings.
So he decides to go with the same lineup, but I think it's fair because he kind of got robbed a bit by the taunts, but maybe in this one you can get a kill on get another kill on another DPS.
Yeah, we do see an interesting change in the opener going second from Juffowup. Instead of Salahammer and Eagle on the front line, we have Miner and Gel. What do you think about that?
Well, I think Gel might be a bit more bulkier than the Eagle, so maybe that's one of the reason. Also, it could be because Salamer is so good at getting that first kill. You can go attack while buffing your DPS and then attack again with your DPS. So it's with like we saw the notorious Goat Hammer Fish. It's kind of similar. You attack with Salamer turn 1 and then your Eagle gets a nice great damage here from and he managed to get the Elder Gel. That's great.
Wow.
Great
Yeah.
point.
Goblin King has been an excellent choice I've seen in testing to really put pressure on Gels. Gels are an interesting choice for the occult spot on any team. Really has been quite popular in a number of occult teams, many just standard teams in general, quite a strong monster. And so having an answer like King on your default lineup is really great to kind of have an answer there. It really couldn't work out better for PT here.
Yeah, and that's great for him because Eagle didn't crit, so the King surviving one more round is very big for him because he might be able to continue the rampage.
Yeah, a lot of that Eagle damage is tied up in those precision hits, explosion and the Thunderstrike having a small number of hits, having the majority of the damage.
And that's huge with the bleeds. The bleeds, get through the both affinity both times. So that's
this King really able to punish these PA picks from Juffowup. And now he still has another strong DPS option in Salahammer, so he's not out of this yet. But that puts a lot of pressure to be able to start picking off the DPS options from PT before he can turn around and pick things off. But he's already had a lot of time to set up. There are a lot of buffs on these monsters, and with heroic defense, it may be hard. But just as I say that, we see these damage previews from Miner, and he has a lot of kills on the table.
Yeah, I think Miner's gonna get the kill here. Yeah.
Now, what's interesting about PT's team as well is Miner for some reason, has Revive. So between Miner, Druid Oak, and Griphonics, he has the option for a 2 to 3 Revive backline, depending on who Juffowup kills. It almost puts a lot of pressure on Juffowup to have to pick off all these Revive monsters so that he doesn't find himself in a difficult situation on the backline where he really only has the single target DPS, and it's going to be much harder for him to be able to clear multiple Revivers in a single turn.
Yeah, I think with the Koltas, Salamur might be able, both Koltas and Salamur might be able to get the kill here, but we'll
Definitely
see.
wants to see himself be able to pick this Griphonics, and he is able to get that first life, but he hasn't even used the Miner yet. He has the option to pick off.
Yeah, because both monsters have hurt damage, so that worked out great for him here.
So now we see PT in the same spot. He's on the same back line, heavy regen, heavy defensive, lots of debuffs, lots of weakness. Definitely could, if he can get set up and keep this Druid alive, be in a good position, but there's lots of fire damage on Juffowup's side. And that's just what he needs to be able to put pressure on that Oak.
Yes, Spark Shower especially is good because it's undodgeable, so even it goes even through the 20% dodge buff.
We are seeing those high regen stacks just in a single turn over on PT's side. I'm very curious to see if we're going to be able to pop a kill on the Druid, if he was able to stack up enough buffs.
Yeah, and on the Flowing side there are lots of debuffs, so that might work out for PT. And as we can see, Salamur doesn't have much damage here.
Yeah, the weakness stacks have really piled up. I would love to see Juffowup start to explore the option of using some antidotes, being able to start clear since he doesn't have a lot of natural debuff cleansing right now on his team. He needs some option because the 3 weakness stacks on all of his DPS monsters are really going to give him a hard time until eventually that Oak is going to put a lot of pressure on the healing and shielding of Juffowup's line.
Yeah, and I totally agree about the Antidote Gull because it's also a great way to preserve your charge stacks on your monsters. So you can build up some damage and then unleash these damage once you've cleared the debuffs enough, and we'll see.
We actually saw an attack from the Druid Oak, even though our Oak friend is carrying a Hexing Wand, is loving to put some debuffs on. It's possible that we're already at max here. I wasn't really paying enough attention to see if the last proc from PT's Oak was able to max out these debuff stacks, but definitely starting to put pressure on that Salahammer and start to look at that back line. We have a Scorch on the back line from Juffowup, which is another revive option. So it's going to be interesting to see how he deals with that before the Scorch can really help take care of some of these debuffs.
Yeah, and I think if PT managed to wear down Salamur here, Flowing is not going to be able to have enough damage to go through all those regions, and I think PT's got a good advantage here. And
definitely waiting to see. Yeah, there goes the Salahammer. Okay, so here comes the Scorch. And now the question is really, is this Scorch going to be able to compete with the speed at which these debuffs are being applied?
Yeah, we don't see Scorch often, so I'm interested to see what it's gonna bring.
Now we see the Restore. We're eyeing over the Restore. I've loved testing the Scorch because it has 3 fun characteristics. One, it's got that crit healing, so you can build kind of offensive Scorch while playing a supportive role and then transition into an attacking posture when you don't need that support. So that's definitely one option. And 2, it's got that buff mastery, so it can apply additional copies of buffs with full offense. Not a combo that you see very often, but being able to apply extra stacks on your own of all offensive buffs can be really helpful for a team coming in out of nowhere. So it's a really interesting monster. I wish we saw it more. Definitely keeping his hopes alive against a wall of debuffs.
And on the other end, on PT side, we saw the great debuff removal from a passive. I think it's from Dread Oak. Every regen tick from the buff has 50% chance to take out a debuff. So that's a great staying power from for his team.
A beautiful passive. Not many monsters have it. He's also running Ninki Naka, which has another copy of that buff.
And Griffonix too.
Oh, Griffonix has it too. So yeah, lots of options to remove those debuffs. Not that Juffowup's really putting a lot of pressure in the form of debuffs on PT, but it lets him keep his head above water for sure. So we see both players kind of waiting for an opportunity to break past the stalemate. We've moved into the infinity stacks, which is kind of to be expected. There's not a lot of damage from either side at this point.
Maybe PT's trying to go for a kill, building some combos with Gulu.
Yeah, definitely an interesting choice to use the Acid Hurricane. That definitely does indicate that you want to start getting aggressive.
Yeah. Not close, but not quite enough to kill the Miner here.
Miner is a tanky fellow who's up to 97 stacks.
Yeah, he's starting to get good damage previews here. We'll see.
Yeah, Juffowup's really hoping that he can stay alive and turn the corner with this.
Now he has to kill the Dread Oak though, because if I remember correctly, Dread Oak has maybe not revive, but maybe he's running Gift of Life. I'm not sure.
Oak does have both Revive and Gift of Life on the table.
All right.
So I don't know if it has Gift of Life, but yeah, he's definitely going there because he could pop the Grulu, but that would force the Oak to revive, which may actually be an interesting play. Now, the Grulu has 9 H stacks. That's not nothing, and being able to reset those to 0 with a revive is not trivial. That does put a lot more pressure.
Also, that resets the infinity stack, so that's something too.
Sometimes forcing the other player to make particular moves can be advantageous, even for a reviver. Oh, so close to being a pop the Scorch, and there it goes.
Yeah.
Down to the degen.
And now with Miner attacked, since Miner attacked previous turn, I don't think he'll have the damage with it for now.
Yeah, he has some options with some of these attacks from the Oculus because it also has amassed 90 debuffs. Juffowup is not ready to give up. He only has the 2 on the table, but there's not a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Especially for his tankier front line.
Yeah, we were starting to see, good damage preview even on the Oculus, so we'll see. But I think PT's gonna be able to get another kill here.
10 H stacks on the Grulu has got to be pretty enticing.
Yeah.
Let's see what he's able to do. A good chunk of HP out of the Miner.
There we go.
And the Miner goes down.
So from that position, I think that's gonna become number 2 going to PT.
It is quarterfinals. I don't blame Juffowup for staying in the game, but we can take a look over at Juffowup's sideboard and see who he's not playing. It looks like he has a Manticore sitting in the wings. Otherwise, the rest of his lineup appears to be used.
So if I were him, I'd be really, mindful of the Goblin King, because that's, like we said, that's really what was his downfall. So in the last game.
Sticking with the same front line. He now gets that first turn. Be nice to see if he can pick off something with Hammer. Now, I'd love to see PT not put the Nanka up front.
maybe putting the Griffonics instead.
Yeah, something that can survive a turn, but he does put the Nanka out again, so he does have to figure out.
He also went for
the
Grid Oak instead of the Kingsline. So that's interesting.
You know, I actually like that line a bit. It does take some work for the Nanka to get to the massive buffs where it can really do damage, especially for this team where a lot of those buffs are not offensive in the form of regen. It may seem enticing, especially when that Oak was really the reason that PT was able to hold on to that game for as long as he did. Now, he still has some other revivers in the backline, so he does have an end game that includes a reviver no matter what Juffowup does. But just off that single turn, that Nanka was really able to put a lot of pressure on the Eagle.
And, you know, it kind of a bit unfortunate, you know, maybe if he managed to put a few debuffs on the Eagle, he might have been able to get through the PA, but unfortunately now it's back in action and ready to, you know, deal some good damage.
It was a little bit of a waste to use that big single target damage on the Eagle when you know that you have a Goblin King in the waiting that can really handle that PA without a lot of work. Especially when you want to put pressure on that Eagle and the gel that's coming. Get rid of that Salahammer, you know?
Yeah. Maybe he didn't want the Goblin Miner to come out.
Yeah, the Goblin Miner has shown, just like that Druid Oak, to really put a damper on a lot of what both players are trying to do. These taunts really get in the way.
And now that worked out great for him, because he might have not been able to get through the PA this time.
Yeah.
Oh, so he chose Miner first.
Yeah, so Miner coming out is interesting, leaning more heavily on the Salahammer as the DPS. But lots of charge stacks. Lots of amplified charge stacks.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, choosing to go for a double attack here, and that worked out great.
He's able to get the kill, even though Salahammer didn't act first. I wonder if Juffowup's build has forgone the option of the combo starter ability for Salahammer.
I wonder.
It seems like a strong option when you're going first and you run that Salahammer out first.
That's true.
Okay, so we've hit the back line for PT. The things to keep in mind is we have a lot of healing from the King Blob, a lot of debuffs from the Grulu, and hopefully some damage and a PA, as well as a copy or revive in that Griffonics.
Again, that's gonna be hard to go through that double earth attack from the Miner and the Salahammer.
Really able to put that pressure, really makes that Griff seem real squishy. And now again, like in game one, he's left without an ability to bring back his reviver. Really smart to bring in that goblin and keep the gel safe, give him time to pick off the Goblin King.
Yeah,
granted, he was able to turn around and just kill the Griff, but really nice counter response from Juffowup.
Yeah, that's true, and now we can really see the flexibility of that monster, you know, Goblin Miner, that can support if needed, put some buffs, and then, you know, get a nice attack if needed. So really flexible monster here.
Now this is PT's tournament on the line, so he's going to stick it out. It's not obvious. He's building up some buffs. He's building up his wall. It's going to be interesting to see if he's able to put enough pressure to kill anything out of Juffowup before his opponent is going to be able to start picking off his last two monsters here. Now, he does have a Gel and a King Blob in the back. Those are both going to be miserable to fight through.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, our Oculus is already up to 100 stacks, though. It really seems like there's not going to be a lot of opportunities for PT to get back into this game, and it's a shame. I've really enjoyed seeing these regen heavy builds. A lot of times in the constructed tribes teams, you'll see Grummy alongside Grulu, so these regen teams having to be a little more scrappy with what their other options are. But I've really been impressed with these teams.
Yeah, I also almost went for a regen team for this tournament because I thought, many people are gonna bring debuffs team because it was like a natural fit for the format since many monsters, add in the the debuff synergies at different tribes. So I think that's a great team to bring for that tournament.
Yeah, I think it is the obvious level one, though, and I think a lot of these teams that did manage to make it to our top 8 were able to see and find ways to have a game plan against these debuff teams. I think because they were so obvious, it's interesting to see the meta evolve a little bit, because this is one of the early UN tournaments. There isn't a lot of previous competitive replays to go on. And there's also been a large number of patches recently that have completely shaken up these teams.
Yeah.
How far down the rabbit hole do these players want to go? Do they want to?
Yeah, I wonder.
And do you want to beat the teams that beat the debuff teams? Do you want to beat the teams that beat the teams that beat the debuff teams? Where on this scale do you want to be? And a lot of the teams focus around fungi, another single type monster. Single type in nature, which is the core of a lot of those debuff teams.
Yeah.
Now, King Blob is awkward. I actually brought it into my team as an answer to these debuff teams, even though King Blob has that weakness to debuffs. Being able to have the ability to cleanse and the restore and get rid of bleed and blind stacks has been really useful. And now he's holding his own. Salute, good King Blob.
Yeah, and the king goes down.
On to game number 4. This is a best of 5. PT is not out, but they both come back with the same teams. Now PT gets the option to go first. Juffowup looking to pull off his same going second opener of Oculus Minor Elder Gel.
I wonder if Goblin King, if Goblin King could be able to deal a first turn killing blow to one of these PA monsters, but I think it's not quite there. But I'd be interested to try it out.
This is the safe choice, right? Like we were talking last round, putting out the monster with PA yourself.
Yeah.
Especially against this team that has a very high single target damage, but not a lot of ways to cleanse the PA other than multiple attacks. So being able to have that out early before the other team can get a chance to set up. I'm still going to pop the PA, but he gets another turn out of this Griffin. So I think it's going to be important. It's going to be important to see what he can get done here, because he really needs to see this Griffin do something before it just dies.
Griffin X has normal damage, but it's on AoE attack, so it might be not enough damage to kill the Elder Gel here. Decides to go for the Oculus.
That's interesting. We haven't seen a lot of pressure on the Oculus. It was very close.
Yeah.
Very close to picking off that Oculus, and that's gotta be frustrating for PT. The Oculus presents itself as an opportunity to create a large amount of charge stacks for the team.
Yeah, it's always so sneaky.
Yeah, it has leadership, so the ability to share charge stacks with the team, as well as a passive for insects, which doesn't really help anybody but himself, but a passive for insects that allows him to get those charges as it applies debuffs.
Although Griffin X is safe for one more turn. And
I am
now we can
very
see...
impressed that Griffin stayed alive.
Yeah. Well,
Solid opener
like many
from the blob.
monsters.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Like many monsters, Griffinix has the heroic defense. So as soon as he gets enough buff on him, he starts to get a bit tankier. So now we can see a nice kill on the Oculus.
Yeah, now we're starting to roll here. Able to put pressure on that Oculus, forcing Juffowup to play a different lineup than he has these other games, which may be to PT's favor. Really force him to not swap out 1-for-1 with exactly those monsters that he wants, swapping out that DPS for another DPS, or swapping out that support for another support.
I like that ult so much on King Blood, the full heal, putting so many charge stacks, so many buffs. It's it's
a
great.
good time to talk about the King Blob. So the King Blob has a number of different shift passives, depending on which blob is leveled up. It does look like Juffowup opting for the charge healing version of the King Blob, putting charge stacks on that gel and getting 2 kills.
Yeah, that damage per review was disgusting. It was so much damage.
But that does allow PT to bring in 2 revivers off of the bench. That means unless, actually, even if he kills both, Juffowup can't clear both revivers from the board without killing both. If he kills either, the Nanka comes in, he still has a reviver in the back line.
Yep, that's nice for him.
Gonna charge up that Elder Gel and get rid of those bleed stacks, just a few, but still nice to get rid of them.
And now it's pretty nice for for PT because the Goblin King resists magical attacks, so that Elder Gel won't be killing it anytime soon. Or maybe
it definitely has the opportunity to pop this oak though. This fire pillar, giving some nice previews. Not gonna waste it. Maybe saying, hey, that's a big move. I don't need it. I'm going to keep that in my pocket. I'm going to save it. And I'm going to maybe see if I have another preview with that pillar next turn that I wouldn't have with that fireball. Now, he has gone for the Dark Shift Nanka, which has Overheal instead of Enlightened as its shift passive. So maybe looking at these buff sources as, I'm going to get to max anyway. I don't need to share. I don't need that explosive start. I really want to make sure that my heals are going to do something coming from these monsters that really don't do too much other than spam heals even at full health like Druid Oak.
That's a good point. Here did manage to get the kill on Elder Gel. Some dodges happen. Now
there's a lot of damage on that bench there.
Yeah.
These are some big previews. And killing that Nanka isn't the end because, again, the King has the revive. Now, did PT spec it? He did. Okay, so we definitely have the revive on the Nanka. A full heal from the blob gets the Nanka back to full and pops a few nice little buffs on it as well.
Back in the fight here.
Wow, and you pick the miner. That's a good pick for just coming back and not really having that massive buffs. It's nice to see that Nanka still be able to pick off the miner like that. It was not a slouch when it comes to the survivability department.
Yeah, it's a tanky monster, and like you said, from naked without any buffs to getting a killing blow on it, it's impressive.
Now, if I'm PT, I'm sweating at this point because there's a lot of scary monsters staring you down.
Yeah, the eagle is still lurking in Flowing's team, and then now we see the Nanka going down again.
He's put back in this position. Now, he doesn't have the full heal from the blob, but we may be able to get to full off of just a heal itself or a restore. Helping hand as well.
Even the helping hand from King Bob is still lots of buffs and charge stacks, so he might be able to still get a kill here. And not quite.
Oh, not quite. But this does mean that the blob has to be healing the Salahammer rather than the gel. That means those charge stacks are going to the Salahammer and not the gel, which could be in his favor. Now, he already has a full preview, Juffowup, on that Donka.
Yeah. Flowing's gonna try to get that double kill, you know, to
now, have we
close the game.
Yeah, here we go. Being able to put pressure on both the Donka. Did not trigger the miss.
I don't see any way
to revive.
It's true, but now it's truly gonna be, you know, naked with a sliver of health.
Yeah, and not quite able without the support of that King Blob to take down the Salahammer. Really wanted that last turn to roll a little bit more in his favor in order to be able to put pressure, pull out that eagle from the back line.
Yeah, that still was a very, very nice matchup here.
Yeah, great game to see. And that's the end. We see Juffowup take 3 games to 1.
And thanks for watching, everyone.
See you next time.